Hi, everyone. My name is Dennis Kuda. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Roberts Poly Pro. I wanted to take a brief moment and thank Andrew for hosting this presentation. We really appreciate it. And our goal is to just inform you, the user of multi-pack handles, all the different options. What is Roberts Poly Pro? We're a manufacturer of can and bottle handles for different industries. We're part of the ProMach umbrella. ProMach consists of about 52 different brands or companies, and we are considered the largest manufacturing of packaging equipment worldwide. Our sales are 2 billion plus, and we plan on growing even more aggressively in the years to come. Roberts Poly Pro is headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have sheet extrusion, injection molding, and welding technology. We have a team of engineers that design multiple pack-out solutions. We are also the manufacturers of applicators, manual, semi-automatic, different speeds for not only our plastic can and bottle handles, but also paperboard. If you look at it at a high level, you'll see our products. From the bottle standpoint, you're going to see ours at big box stores like Sam's Club, Costco, or Walmart, where you look at it and there's a 3-pack ketchup multi-pack. And then we're heavily into the craft beer market with 2 types of products: our traditional low-density polyethylene ring and our high-density craft pack carriers. What is multi-packing? We put multi-packing in 4 segments. The first segment is HDPE. That is the acronym for high-density polyethylene. The second is paper and paperboard. Some of these products are strictly paper. Some of them are a combination of paper and a coating, like a low-density coating, to make it more durable. There are new up-and-coming products such as plant and fiber-based. And then there's the traditional LDPE, or low-density polyethylene plastic, commonly known as the traditional 6-pack ring. Talking to the market, there are about 5 key considerations when choosing a multi-pack carrier. Each one has a different priority for the end user. So we define them as sustainability, function and durability, ease of application, transportation and storage, and cost. What's the biggest or the most common challenges for breweries or other beverage manufacturers? Really, it's to find a reliable, secure handle to hold cans in place through the customer journey. This is the #1 factor. There's nothing worse than a can falling out of a handle or a bottle falling out of the handle, especially at the retail level. There's safety concerns, there's product damage, and it's just not a good look for the beverage. There's also the cost of packaging and applicators. There's the per unit price that is important, but also how they are applied. And some of these multi-packs require pretty sophisticated or complex application. There's also the difficulty to apply handles to the cans. Some are better off manually, and some you really have to run that product through an applicator. And then there's storage concerns or storage space, which we'll talk on in a minute. Let's talk about the first consideration, which is sustainability. With the HDPE plastic, you'll hear me talk about Craft Pack. That's our trademark name for our HDPE handles. HDPE is 100% recyclable, and the design is such that we reduce the amount of plastic so it's not big and bulky in the market. And there's also a benefit is that it's reusable. If it's properly removed with our design, which we have with tabs, you can use that handle multiple times. With the LDPE plastic, most are photodegradable and recyclable. And we're excited to announce that now there's an option where they're biodegradable. For paper and paperboard, cardboard is very easy to recycle. But as I mentioned previously, when you have a coating on that paper, it gets very complicated through the recycling stream. That type of product requires industrial recyclable, where big equipment has to extract that coating from the paperboard and separate the two products. And then there's plant and fiber-based. They are compostable and biodegradable. Production of biofiber packaging is resource and very cost-intensive. How about function and durability? For the HDPE plastic, it has high heat and moisture resistance. We do make it easy to remove so you can use that handle again. You don't have to rip that can out of the holder. When you do that, it shakes up the beverage, especially with beer. So we try to avoid that with our design. With the traditional ring, they're strong and reliable. They're more flexible and less heat resistant than the HDPE carrier. However, you cannot reuse that product. Once you take that can out of the ring, you can no longer use it. From a function and durability standpoint, paper, paperboard, plant, and fiber-based products, they risk of tearing and moisture damage. Anytime you introduce moisture or water to a fiber product, it is going to affect its integrity. Secondly, with the plant and fiber-based, from a functionality standpoint, a lot of the new products, especially fiber-based and paperboard, they tend to overhang the six-pack. So they go beyond that space, the six-pack, which is a problem at the retail level. Grocery stores specifically are very calculated on their shelf space and the refrigeration space. And this causes, that overhang causes a little bit of a problem with their formula on how many products they can fit in that designated area. How about the ease of application? With the HDPE or craft pack handles, you can easily manually apply them. It's much easier if you use a fully automatic applicator, and there are a lot available. We have speeds ranging from anywhere from 60 cans a minute all the way to 400 cans a minute, and we're working on even faster applicators. With the LDP plastic, they are available at pre-cut or in reels, but really they're most effective when they're automatically applied. There is a big industry out there where there's grocery stores, there's gas stations, there's people that sell beer. What they do is they buy a case of beer, they break it down into 4 6-packs, and they apply the traditional ring to that so they can get more money per 6-pack instead of the whole case. Most importantly, that's not into an automated or production environment. It's a very slow process, and it's a hassle, but they're not in a production environment. With paper and paperboard, it varies in complexity with the application. There are some manual options available, but others require cartoning machines, which are very capital intensive. It's very expensive to get in some of those applicators. With plant and fiber based, there are manual, semi-automatic, and fully automatic applicators available. Generally speaking, the application of the plant and fiber-based products is still a work in process. What about transportation and storage? With the craft pack handles, they're very durable, and it minimizes any damage through the shipping or transportation process. The craft pack handles can be stored in nested stacks, which reduces the shipping and storage pace and cost. We can fit a lot of handles in one box, which makes it very efficient and compact. The traditional rings are lightweight in design, and it's fairly easy to ship and store. However, it does require certain protection with cardboard, so it takes up a little more space, but because they're so light and thin, you can get a lot in that package as well. With paper and paper board, the biggest nemesis, both with plant and fire-based, is any introduction of moisture and water. Again, and even heat, it affects the integrity of the product. So moisture and heat damage when it comes to storage and transportation is a factor. How about cost? From a craft pack handle standpoint, or an HDPE, it ranges in price, which is based on volume, but it is 25% less expensive than its counterpart because of the reduction of plastic. For a 4-pack handle, the average price is about 9 cents per unit. And for a 6-pack, it's about 12 cents. Again, based on volume. It's anywhere from 13 and 8 cents for a 4-pack and a little under 16 cents to 11 cents for a 6-pack. The traditional ring, and that's why they're still around, is the price. The price per 6-pack is around 5 cents. And for a 4-pack, it's even less. So it's by far the most cost-effective multi-pack option. With paper and paperboard, the prices tend to be 20 cents or higher per unit. Again, a big cost factor is the applicators and the equipment needed to apply the handles. And then, especially with anything that is printed, there's minimum orders required. So if you get in the cartons or if you want custom printing on the handles, it usually involves a half a truck or even a truckload, which means you have to buy all that and you have to store that for a year. When we talk to most customers, their volumes, when they order something like that, for most small, medium-sized breweries, that product will last a year. What about plastic versus plastic? Here are just some common definitions. Virgin plastic. That's a new plastic that has never been used before. Post-consumable recycled material, often referred to as PCR. That's a plastic material that has already been recycled. For instance, they'll have water bottles that have gone through the recycling process. They're recycled into pellets, and then that has the ability to manufacture additional products. There are studies now that are being conducted that are looking at the PCR and how it affects the recycling structure. As you can imagine, the more times it's recycled, the less it uses its original molecular structure. So there's some tests, there's some surveys now that are trying to determine how long and how much effect that PCR is going to have in the recycling stream. There's regrind. Regrind is really in the manufacturing process. It's scrap that material is reused within the manufacturing process. For instance, with both our products, the Craft Pack and Grip Pack products, there's apertures. So it'll come out in a sheet form and then it's die cut, the holes and everything around it. That product then gets chopped up in the manufacturing process into a pellet form, and it goes into our manufacturing process. So in essence, by and large, we don't have any scrap. We are really internally using our own PCR. Reusable. Reusable are handles that can be reapplied to other cans as is, or the same cans multiple times. This means that it's not a one-time plastic use. And then there's just 100% recyclable. That's just plastic that can be recycled. Let's talk a little bit about the U.S. recycling infrastructure. There's 3 major components of the recycling system. There's the collection, there's the processing, and then there's the manufacturing. Based on customer feedback, all the states vary with their definitions and their ability to process certain materials. For instance, there's certain states that won't even recycle glass. There's others that recycle everything, and then there's other that's only do a few, which really kind of brings us to the issues with the recycling infrastructure. First, there's a lack of recycling education. Secondly, the infrastructure is unable to handle mixed materials. Again, it varies by states. The third is a lack of infrastructure to serve domestic markets. At this point, Europe is further along when it comes to recyclability and sustainability. For instance, in a couple years from now, they're going to require all water bottle manufacturers to have the same material for their caps than they do for the body of their water. Because most of the time, people will drink the water, they put the cap on. When those two plastics are different, it really makes it very, very difficult, almost impossible to recycle that product. You literally have to manually unscrew that cap, put it into a second bin or area in order to recycle it. You can't really recycle copolymers or multi-plastics that are laminated together. And then the fourth is just the lack of unity in the recycling goals. Every state differs. What's next? This is where we're super excited. We feel the trend is, or know the trend is, there's photodegradable, there's biodegradable, and there's compostable. The first is photodegradable. What happens is sunlight hits the product and breaks that product down. It doesn't necessarily biodegrade 100%. It will just take that product and break it down into small fractures of the plastic. Then there's biodegradable, which decomposes really from a bacteria or living organisms like enzymes and microbes. 100% biodegradable can carriers are the new option, and we're going to talk about that, and we're excited to introduce some products. Then there's compostability. Which naturally breaks down into non-toxic natural components. Plant or fiber-based multi-packs are generally compostable. Let's talk a little bit about the evolution of the multi-pack. In the 80s and earlier, really the only multi-pack available was the LDPE rings or traditional rings. In the early 90s, the EPA introduced new regulations, primarily for marine life. They wanted to prevent the entrapment of animals. So there was only a few manufacturers of the LDPE rings, and they then had to add a photodegradable additive, which again breaks down that ring. But from a sustainability and environmental standpoint, that plastic still existed. The sun would hit the ring, the additive would do its thing, make that ring brittle and come apart, but it still was there. Then the next stage was recyclable HDPE rings or high density rings. Then now there's plastic alternatives and different combinations of plastic versus paper. But the eye on the prize is having a product that's 100% biodegradable plastic. Three months ago, or about that time, we introduced a 100% biodegradable can carrier, and that's with the LDPE or traditional ring. Really, sustainability drove our objectives to introduce a environmentally friendly product. We invested a lot of resources to achieve this objective. And our goal is to have something that's 100% recyclable, which this ring is. But if it doesn't make it to the recycling bin or into the process, and it does find its way into a landfill, in 28 weeks, this product will degrade 100%, again, in 28 weeks in landfill conditions. Our goal, so at the same time we introduced 3 months ago, this new product that's 100% biodegradable, we tested our HDPE handles or our craft pack handles including our bottle handles. It's trending in the right way, but it is taking a little longer. We're beyond 28 weeks. The last test showed that we had 90% degradation in about 50 weeks. Our goal was really to have it within a year or so. I don't think we're going to reach that, but we do feel very positive that it will degrade 100% in about 15 months. The next test stage is coming within the next couple of weeks, so we'll know more, and I'd be more than happy to share that information with everyone. So again, the importance is it's recyclable. If it doesn't hit the recycling stream and it does find its way into a landfill, we know that the traditional rings right now are 100% biodegradable, and the craft pack handles are trending to that in about 15 weeks. But we can't say for certain. A lot of people, or we even asked ourselves, what happens to that product when it goes into a landfill? The good news is it does not leave any carbon footprint. It really turns into methane and carbon dioxide. So there is no residue in again, no carbon footprint. Here's a chart showing the trend within 28 weeks that we had 100% biodegradable product. Again, that was for our traditional grip pack ring. Really, we're hoping that this information just helps our customers, future customers, choose what's right for your business. Everybody has different criteria. We'll talk a little bit about certain criteria, how it affects certain customers. But circling back, really the things to consider is sustainability, function and durability, ease of application, transportation and storage, and cost. Here are the three things to consider that I'd like to share just a couple. We had a Colorado brewery that uses traditional rings. They like the rings. From a statistical standpoint, about 15% of craft breweries still use traditional rings. So introducing a biodegradable ring that works on their equipment was utopia for them. It reached their sustainability goal. From one of their criteria, cost was a factor for a medium-sized brewery. The brewery consumed approximately 3 to 3.5 million handles a year. And when they looked at the cost compared to its counterpart, they were able to save $170,000 per year just on multi-pack spend. They did extensive surveys to their customers prior to switching, and they were amazed to find that the number one criteria is that it was less plastic, it was sleek looking, and they appreciated not the big bulky plastic where you have to rip out. And then there's just hundreds of breweries that switched to our craft pack handles, really for a few reasons. One, it's just less expensive. They're using 30% less plastic. It differentiates it. We're gaining market share, but by no means do we have a lot. So our product helps our customers can stand out in the market a little more. We have an open top. This prevents any mold or moisture entrapment. And then there's some unique benefits as this as well. There are breweries that use colored lids, and because of our open top, they're able to show that colored, the colored lid comes through. Again, Roberts Polypro, we want to be considered a one-stop shop. We're fully integrated by manufacturing both the handles and the rings and the applicators. We'd be more than happy to send information, samples, share any statistics that we have as well. Really, what we wanted to do is make sure that we wanted to eliminate any negative, perception on plastic. Plastic is a meaningful product. It's durable. It's cost effective. And now with the new technology, with these additives, with enzymes and microbes, they're going to be 100% biodegradable. And we just wanted to share that information with the different multi-pack options. Really appreciate it. Again, Andrew, thanks for the opportunity to present. And we'd be happy to take any questions. You can also contact me at dennis.kuda@promocbuilt.com. And my phone number is below. Please reach out if we can help in any way. Are there any questions? Okay, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity and hope to speak to you soon. Thank you.
Hey, Dennis, we did have a question come through. You ready for it?
Yep, I'm ready.
Jeremy asked, is black recyclable?
Our black craft pack handle is recyclable, correct?
Awesome. Thanks for the question, Jeremy. Does anybody else have any questions they'd like to ask Dennis? And Dennis, if you could you give your email address one more time so anyone can reach out?
I'm sorry, it didn't show on the slide. It's Dennis, DENNIS, period, Kuda, KUTA, at promocbuilt.com.
Awesome. We've got it built in there for anyone who wants to reach out following. Thanks again for all the great information today, and I look forward to sharing pints with you soon. Appreciate you all.
Bye-bye, all. Cheers.